Longer than normal. There. Hi, we're live. My name is Becky Norwood. I am with Spotlight Publishing, and I am absolutely delighted to bring to you today Barbara Ames. You know, one of the biggest things that we face I work with many authors, and the question is always, who are you writing this book for? What are you doing this for? How do you really take and use that book as a tool for business growth? And Barbara and I had a really nice conversation about that and really beginning to define exactly who your tribe is. So I bring you Barbara today and I want to read a little bit about her bio so you kind of get a background of who she is and what she's all about. She's a this is her bio. Thriving Changemaker Academy founder Barbara Ames helps simplify and demystify online marketing for coaches and other changemakers who are struggling to gain visibility online. And I'm going to read a little bit more, but I want to talk about the changemaker aspect of it. You know, our world this is a crazy time that we're living in. It feels like a lot of our world is upside down right now, as far as we've had COVID, we've had so many other things, and it's just not on our little communities. It's worldwide. It's not just the United States, it's everywhere. So the whole world that has been in turmoil. And I know my mom lives in Northern California, where terrible fires and the smoke and the damage and the homeless people in her area is just incredible. And you think about what is really transpiring for those of us like you and I that are working to help people really bring their messages to the world. There's a lot of us that want to be that change maker, bring about the change that our world so needs. So using her signature Instant Tribe online attraction system, she has helped countless attract their online tribe to gain clarity on their ideal client while they're growing their following and creating offers that sell effortlessly to fill programs, courses, and retreats. The Thriving Changemaker Academy supports changemakers in making the impact they're here to make by helping them to build a thriving online business that produces consistent, reliable, and scalable income, along with the freedom to enjoy it. So I bring you Barbara Ames. Welcome, Barbara.
Hi, thank you for having me, Becky.
So you have a lot going on in your world right now, and you have something that you're offering. You have a 5-day challenge and a few other things. Could you address that and why it's so necessary right now?
Yeah, I think that you really talked about it so well in the very beginning of this interview, where you said, one of the things that we are telling our people to do is they have to gain clarity on who they're speaking to, right? Who are you writing this book for? Who are you creating this course for? And this is where everybody gets stuck. I know I certainly got stuck there myself. And, I finally, through a lot of long time and a lot of angst and, trying, I finally uncovered that my tribe are what you've referred to them several times as change makers, because that's what I call them. And let me start by defining what I mean by that. So to me, a change maker is somebody, and yes, there is a lot going on in the world, and a lot of us are feeling called to help. But to me, the audience, my tribe are change makers people who have gone through some kind of transformation in their life. And that experience that they've had, coupled with their background and their knowledge, now is compelling them to facilitate transformation or change in the lives of others, right? And sort of behind the scenes, that's what pulls people forward in my world, in my tribe. And so,
yes, mine too.
And so what we're telling them is that they similarly need to get clear on who their ideal client is to create things that will connect with them, i.e. courses and books and things like that. And it's kind of this chicken and egg conundrum, because, it's like, and I went through this too. Now, I went through several avatars or ideal clients before I realized who my tribe really was. And it's really difficult because we get stuck with, trying to figure out in a vacuum, so to speak, who is this ideal client of mine? And we can't create something for them until we know who they are, but we can't know who they are until we have some reason to connect with them.
It's difficult sometimes to really figure this whole thing out and really understand how to even reach them, let alone know who they are. And so we know we want an online course. We know they have this powerful message, but how do you kind of get to the bottom of it?
Yeah.
So you're spinning your tires and spending so much time creating things that don't have an audience.
That don't have an audience, right? That's the biggest problem. And I think that the reason is, and it's great advice. You need to have an audience in mind when you're creating something, right? And so, but what people do, I think, where they get stuck is we try to create that person in a vacuum. We try to figure out who we're going to create this for.
Yeah.
Right. And, we use what I call, most people will come up with this imaginary avatar, right? Sally lives, in a suburbs and a picket fence and has a husband and 2.5 kids and a dog. And she's really, it's whole, I've seen like whole,
I've
seen whole multi-page things. Well, here's what I've discovered. I mean, that's all well and good. If you want an imaginary client, then for sure start with an imaginary avatar, right? But in the real world, it's really hard to really understand who Sally is until you can start with a real person, something that I call a temporary avatar. So that is the first step towards really knowing what to say, what to write about, how to position our books, our courses, our whatever, is to throw out this whole, imaginary avatar idea and start with what I call a temporary avatar.
So tell us about this temporary avatar.
Yeah.
How do we start with a temporary avatar?
Great. Yes, exactly. So a temporary avatar in my world is a real person. Okay, so first and foremost, a real person. So
flesh and blood, and somebody that can, smile and
flesh and blood, real feelings, somebody you can talk to and ask questions. Oh my God, what a concept, right? So somebody you can actually get into their mind because they have a mind, a real mind, not an imaginary mind to get into. So it's somebody that you've either worked with in the past or currently working with. And by the way, it might be in an official capacity, as in you were their coach or, helped them in some way, or it might have even just be a friend that you've really helped through a tough time. And it's somebody that ideally you enjoyed working with, and ideally that you actually helped get some desired outcome. You helped shift in some way, shape, or form. And I call them temporary. Oh, and by the way, and if somebody is just starting out and they cannot think of any person at all that fits that description, then a great temporary avatar is a past version of yourself. Okay, so some past version of yourself. And I call them temporary avatars because we're using these real people to see who you naturally have attracted, who your tribe, who's been in your life so far, and not to define your niche or your ideal client, but it's a road, it's one step down the road. So people get really stressed out when you start having the niche conversation, right? But what I have found is that, if we just like suspend that, say, like they start getting stressed out, oh, but I can help so many different people with so many different problems. Great. Let's start with just one person and what they wanted and what they thought their problem was, right? And then we'll look at another, and then we'll look at another, and then we'll look at another. Now, what I have discovered is that throughout all of those, even if they're completely different in nature, you can always see a common thread running through them all.
The human condition is very universal. Typically, there's a common thread always with it. None of us are unique to society, and meaning that if we have this problem, there's quite likely there's somebody else that has a problem too. So this is akin to like market research, right?
It is market research. It's so funny. And in almost every other industry in the world, we don't create a product until we do market research. And somehow we forget that in the coaching industry, or some people do. And so this is really market research.
So what do you have coming up that would help somebody just really get to the bottom of it and stop spinning their tires? So, because I work with a tremendous amount of people that they know what they want to do. They have this vision, but they just feel a little bit lost with it, really putting it together. And even for my authors, many of the first questions I typically ask them is, who are you writing your book for?
Yeah.
Can you define that one person? Because usually if you can write for one person, you can write for too many.
Yeah. And you probably get a deer in the headlight look when you ask that question, because as change makers, we don't think about that when we start off. We think about, oh my gosh, I've just had this amazing transformation myself. I have to shout it from a mountaintop. I have to tell everybody. I have to write a book. I have to create a course. I got to tell everybody. And we're in that mode, right? And the thing that we forget is that business is not a monologue. It's a conversation. It's a conversation. It involves two entities, two people, my point of view and you, where you are right now. And to get people's attention, that's why we have to focus on a person. We have to get into their mind and see, who are you and what is it that will get your attention, right? And so I have uncovered or discovered that what gets people's attention is not our messaging or our this or that or whatever, because nobody really gives a whatever about who I help or what I do, right? But what
that's true. And in today's world, there's so many messages being bombarded every time we turn around, no matter where we are.
No matter where you are,
so
everywhere.
much noise. Right.
So, but what does get people's attention, so this is the conversation part, meeting people where they are in what they think their problem is. So there's only 3 things that we really need to understand about our temporary avatar: what their desired outcome is, what they want in the world, what they think is getting in the way of them getting that desired outcome, and what we know to be true instead. And when you combine those things, you can come up with topics, what I call magnetic topics, that meet people where they're at. And then we can bring them to a new understanding of their situation. And that is what gets people to take action, to take the next step with us in our course, or read our book, or take our course, or join our retreat.
So you have a different, in our conversation yesterday, you were talking about a whole different kind of method to not only take it from the ideal client, but also even creating a series of, mini summits. So, and attracting those that are actually your ideal joint venture partners to make it attractive for somebody, that ideal client that we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So first step is to uncover or figure out what these magnetic topics are, right? So that's going to load your lips with what to talk about to get your tribe's attention. And oh, by the way, while you're uncovering those, you're gaining clarity on just who your tribe is, right? So it's not a gain clarity and then take action. It's a take action, and that gives you the clarity. Mm-hmm. And so now that you know what to talk about that will get your tribe's attention, which is to say the topics that they think are, where they're stuck, the problems that they think they need to solve. Well, then the next step is lead generation. How do we now get in front of audiences to talk about our topics, right? You have a topic now. How can I find an audience to tell my topic to, right? To get people to join
Absolutely.
me. And so for that's what I was talking about yesterday is I have developed, I've developed a couple of things. One is a magnetic topic process to help people uncover what those topics are. And then the next thing is a magnetic event. And that is a way to get in front of strangers to talk about your topics, and in a way that also attracts partners. So you're partnering with others in the industry to do that, to get in front of
There's
strangers.
there's something so valuable about partnering with others because we're not an island. We can't operate like we're an island all by ourselves, because it is by really tapping into a collaborative wisdom that we start to really make the biggest impact, because we have to have those connections to make it really worth the time and effort for that we're putting into all of this that we're doing. But it's making it so that even that ideal client we're talking to gets the best of all worlds.
100%. And when I first started in this business, in the coaching business, I heard somebody talking about partners the way you just were. And I'll tell you, when when I looked around at the other people who were in my industry, I had them up on a pedestal and I was down here. And they were, the person that was talking from your point of view was talking about, you want to go and partner with those people, reach out to them. And in my mind, that was inconceivable, absolutely inconceivable that I would reach out to those people, because lowly little me, what could I ever have to offer them that they would even make the time to meet with me? Well, what I discovered is that, they do, and it's a whole different world. And this process that I've created, the event, the magnetic event, is a way to ease into that world of partners, where you don't feel intimidated. I mean, you might, but you really shouldn't. You quickly get over that intimidation, and you start seeing, oh my gosh, these are my peers. They're not my heroes. They're my peers. And really get into that world, which once you step into that stream of partners, it just fast tracks your business. Haven't you discovered that?
Oh, very, very much. And it's because you're not trying to be all things to all people, but it also brings into light the abundance mindset.
Yes.
Because I'm a publisher. I'm in a mastermind with a lot of other publishers, and somebody made the point, well, I don't want to share my secrets with even in a mastermind group, they didn't want to share. And I was puzzled by that, because look at the size of this world we're living in. It isn't a competition. It's a collaboration. It's everybody helping each other, because there's enough to go around for all of us. And that's really important.
I think it's so important. I think you hit on such an important point. And here's the thing, I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 years, and I've been in a number of different industries. And I will tell you that there's an old paradigm that's giving way to the new. And the old paradigm is what traditional business has been based upon. And that is the paradigm of scarcity. Right? That any client that I get is one that you won't. And scarcity creates competition. So if you just think about traditional business, it's very competitive, because and the only reason that it's competitive is if you're coming from a mindset of scarcity. Right? So if they buy your product or hire you, then they're not going to hire me. So what's really beautiful, what I discovered coming into the online coaching world, is that it has really such a new industry. It really is in its infancy. And it's really an industry that is based on a new paradigm of abundance, that there's more than enough for everybody. And that paves the way for partners. So when there's abundance, you don't have competition. Instead, you have partners.
Perfect. Yes.
And that's one thing, like, it just, when I finally got that into my head in this industry, it would, oh my gosh, I was literally crying tears of joy, because a solopreneur is probably one of the loneliest things you will
It's a
ever.
tough road to hoe.
It's a tough, lonely road. And for, 20 years before I came into the online coaching world, I was that lonely solopreneur, successful, but extremely lonely. And when I finally realized and wrapped my brain around this, and now I have dozens, maybe hundreds of partners, and they're friends, and it's fun. And now building a business is fun. It's amazing.
Yes, we're really blessed. I think, with what's happened in our world in the last, especially this year, and I think our world is transforming into something that it's a new way of thinking. It's opened a lot of eyes, and I feel you think about where we are, and you think about what if COVID had happened 10 years ago.
Hmm.
We didn't have all the tool sets that we have and the technology that we have to stay connected. We didn't have a lot of this mindset that we're like what we're talking about, the collaboration and the partnerships that we could create, because we're all realizing that we are very interconnected in this world. And it's by lifting each other up and supporting each other is where the success really truly comes from. So what we're really talking about here is a whole different picture, a very different viewpoint on how to create success in life and in business, and pull it all together to where what we provide for those that become our tribe or are our tribe is true amazing value.
Mm.
And we are paving the road for them to step into the same thing.
Yes.
So I put in the chat, for this interview is, what do you have coming up that would support our listeners? And I'm going to be sending this out to even the video. I'm going to send it out to my tribe so that they can understand the full depth of what we're talking about here. But you have something coming up that just intrigued me, and I felt like it would be such a cool thing for those that that follow me and that talk, the authors that I work with, because it is the first question I ask: who's your tribe? Who are you writing?
And you probably get the deer in the headlight look, right?
So, what do you have coming up?
Well, all right. So I have, I call it an action accelerator. Okay. It's a 5-step process that I use to help you answer that question. Who are you writing this for? Who is your ideal client? Who is your tribe? Not for you to make something up in your head, but who is really going to resonate with your message, get the best results from your book or your work or your services or whatever. That is how I define your tribe, right? The people that are most easily going to pay you for your services and be most eager and get the best results. So it's called the Attract Your Tribe Action Accelerator. And Becky, it's normally $1,000. It's 5 steps. I walk you through my 3-step magnetic topic process to figure out the topics that will attract your tribe, and then how to get in front of audiences. So the best way to generate leads to find your tribe, right? I go through a real detailed process to help you figure that out. And I want to offer it to your folks for free. So, yeah, I know. Well, and also, here's the thing too, twice a year, I offer this as a live challenge for free. And so anybody that joins the so I'm giving your people the accelerator. It's evergreen. It runs all the time. So I know I gave you a link for it, and it's a special kind of backdoor sneaky way to get in there for free without having to pay for it. And if anybody that sees this is watching this on the week of September 21st, I think that's what week this is.
That's next week. Yeah,
No, sorry, this week. This week, which is what? I don't even know what it is this
The
week.
21st was Monday. Today's the
Yes.
22nd.
So if you're watching this the week of September 21st, 2020, I am the challenge, the free version of the limited time free version of this is running. It started on Monday, and it includes live calls, live Q&A calls, and also daily prizes, actually. So just to get people to participate. It's really fun. It started yesterday. People are just going gangbusters. They're already having aha moments, and it's just so much fun. I'm in my element when I'm running this challenge. Now, but to your people, you can join the accelerator and you can access it at any time. Once you've logged in and created a login for that accelerator, I'll invite you to the challenge, which is this week only, and you can absolutely join in with that. But you have access to this, to the material forever.
That's awesome. Very good. That's very generous, and I so thank you, because I think it's fun to kind of to be able to work in line with this and really figure it all out and then move forward, because I do believe that each one of us have had a life journey that has brought us to where we are today, and it's time to bring those special gifts to the world. Our shining, what makes us shine today, is through many life experiences, and it's through our sharing, our storytelling, our ability to shine where those life experiences has brought us to is what will bring the beauty to our world, and what is so needed, that connection.
Yeah.
Very cool.
100%. Your tribe needs you. You guys, your tribe needs you.
Yeah.
So, and this will help you answer that question. Again, it's not a figure this out and then take action. You're going to figure this out while you're taking action. In the process that I teach, you're not only going to gain clarity and confidence, but you're also going to get clients, because that's kind of how it works.
Very good. So for those that are listening to this, and those that will be listening to this as I send it out, be sure and follow the link there. For those that are been currently listening or discover it pretty soon, and join the challenge, or at least take part in this. And Barbara, this has been awesome, and I hope we can stay connected too. We talked about yesterday, maybe even able to include this in some of the packages I offer for my authors, because it's one of the key areas that we all that I see the most, like you say, the most deer in headlight look. It's like, okay, how do I figure that out? So
Awesome. Great.
awesome.
Anything I can do to help your people, I'm happy to.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for being you are.
Thank you, darling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.